Welcome back to the channel. This is Alex with another midweek thematic update. And in this channel, we document the growth of a $100,000 account I've made for my newborn son. We're growing the account using technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and some news. And in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the active themes in the market and see how they're performing week to week. If that's something you're into, stick around. All right, so with every video, we like to start off with some news items that are happening. And today is actually Tuesday. This video is actually going to go out on Wednesday. But so far, we have Trump's tweeting out that he has made a trade deal with the Philippines, put out a tweet saying, that the deal went well. I guess they're going to charge 19% to the Philippines, and they've concluded the trade deal. On other news, he said he was considering getting rid of capital gains tax on housing, which would be pretty interesting given the amount of debt that the United States government has. So to cut taxes on such a big ticket item like that seems pretty unlikely. So yeah, just interesting news there. And with that, let's go on to the market monitor. It's going to be a short segment today because I want to just go over the thematic updates. But yeah, let's go see what's going on over there. All right, so for those of you who are new to the channel, the market monitor is a collection of data I've taken over time. Essentially, it tracks the locations of stocks, whether they're in uptrends, sideways after uptrends, or sideways after downtrends, and in downtrends. That mixed with some internals like VIX and long-term breadth and all that good stuff. I use this market monitor to help my investing process so that we could see what's going on inside the market and so we can make better decisions. If you guys are curious how the market monitor works, I put a link in the description below that explains every column that I typically go over on every video. So with that, let's get into where we're at. Okay, so currently we are market monitor yellow, and this is day 8. And as I'm doing this video, normally I wait until the end of the market, but today, since I have a trip I have to go to, I'm just doing it right now while the market's still active. So it's moving around. It might not be totally accurate. I want to get a video out for you guys so I can release it, on schedule. So yeah, so far we've moved about 0.5%, and the average yellow cycle lasts about 8.8 days, and it goes down 0.35%. And the distribution count right now is 5. And if we just have one more distribution day, I mean, it could actually happen today because the Nasdaq's really red. But most of the stocks actually, the broader market's actually up, so that's why we're actually up on the day. But one more distribution day is going to push us into red, and that will be interesting for the next cycle. So with that, let's go check on the thematic update, and yeah, it's some really interesting stuff moving there. And yeah, so let's go check it out. All right, so before we get into the TA and the charts, just want to tell you guys what the top themes are currently in the market. And as you can see here, the top theme at the moment is crypto. And then I have a list of stocks here, that are associated with that theme. These are the best performing names in that group during this last uptrend and sideways cycle. So moving onwards, we have clean energy, we have rare earths, we have robots and drones, and AI content and quantum computing. And these are all the stocks associated with them. And so what I did actually today, before we get into the individual charts on my normal platform, I did something kind of interesting because Thinkorswim has a really cool feature where you can add up stocks and put it into kind of a group chart. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to just show you guys the group chart and see how everything's performing. So the first chart I want to show you guys is the crypto group. And now I didn't include BMNR and SBET because they're like they spike a lot and they kind of mess up the chart. And I didn't equally weight them. You could go in here and you can basically make them all equally weighted so the chart looks a little bit better. But this does a pretty good job for now. And so Yeah, as you can see, this group is doing well. It's up 3% today. It kind of pulled back yesterday, but it's making this nice little flag, and it's a nice uptrend. So crypto is still, going super strong. Yeah, the next group I wanted to show you guys is energy and like solar stocks. And if we could see here, this group I included SEDG, QS, ENVX, and Run. And this one's actually the best performing group at the moment. It's kind of overtaking crypto. It's pretty strong. It's up 6.5% today. So clean energy is moving just well. It's moving strong. The others that I included in the clean energy that are a little bit different, it's a subgroup, is the nuclear stocks. Nuclear stocks, I think, have topped short term here. These were one of the big leaders, and yeah, it's down about 4% today. So moving onwards to rare earths, this is with MP, UUUU, PLL, some of the lithium stocks. These are actually doing really well. It's up 3.5% so far today, and they're just moving actually very strongly. I think the lithium trade is a good trade, and we'll go over that later on in the video. And then, so moving on to robots. Robots are kind of similar to uranium. I think it's in the same kind of a basket. You could kind of see here with this chart, it looks very similar. I think they've topped, and they're just going to move sideways from here. They're down about 3.6% today. And then lastly, the AI content. It's been a very strong name, like including Roblox and all this kind of stuff. I think these have topped. They're down about 3.5% today. So with that, let's get into some individual charts and check out maybe some specifics about how these things are moving and what do I think is going to happen going into the future. All right, so what you're looking at here is ticker symbol QQQ. This is a ETF that tracks the NASDAQ 100. And as you can see here, it's down today. It's down about 0.5%, which is very interesting and very good for our portfolio because we are actually short Qs and we're long everything else. And as you can see, my thing that I normally track, the IWV, is actually up on the day. So that's something very interesting. It's not necessarily thematic like we're going to go over later on in the video, but it's just interesting. We're starting to see a lot of rotation happening where, the big tech and the semiconductors are getting hit today, and the majority of the rest of the market is actually doing quite well. So with that, let's move on to some of these themes and see how things are doing and what do I think is going to happen going forward. All right, so what you're looking at here, I think this is the top performing stock so far during this uptrend, which is BMNR, which is an Ethereum treasury company run by Tom Lee. And as you can see, it's below the anchored VWAP, so everybody who's bought thus far is down on it, unless you traded like we did and kind of sold into this big candle right here. But I think it's just basing here, and it's not really going down, and there's a lot of people buying underneath the VWAP. So I think this theme is alive and well. Another stock that's very similar to it is this SBET. This is another Ethereum staking company. So these are the two that I didn't have conglomerate charts for, but I think they're just prepping, and maybe after this down wave in the market in the QQQ, maybe these things are going to actually start doing well. You're starting to actually see, I could combine, the DJT is also a treasury company. GME is also a treasury company. So I think a lot of these treasury companies are going to be grouped together and move as a basket. And as you can see, something like GME is just starting to perk up here. DJT is also starting to perk up here. And then, the leaders like SBET and BMNR. I mean, of course, like MSTR, but that's like the big leader. So maybe people are going to rotate out of that and into some of these smaller names, what could be what in the cards. Okay, so yeah, moving onwards. Oh yeah, this is a pump stock. We didn't really talk about this. This is a meme stock that people are kind of targeting. But yeah, so QS is part of the clean energy group. I mean, it's just been going straight up, had one down day, and it instantly negated that down day. This is a very strong chart. We got long this at about like $7, and then we sold the $9 call. So we're going to do something with these calls. We're going to maybe roll them out. Yeah, but this thing is doing really well. Yeah, maybe on that clean energy group theme. ENVX, I mean, this is another stock. It's similar to QS. I had a down day yesterday. These things, like, long term are looking quite constructive. If you look at all these, they've been going sideways for a long time. They had a nice undercut, and now they're starting to make a big move on big volume. So bullish on these names. It's a very similar stock to QS. A lot of volume coming into this name, and it's not going down. So that's very bullish for, moonshot sort of things. These are kind of scammy companies, and they oftentimes go up the most. So yeah, that's what's happening there. Maybe what I could do is let me talk about some of the solars. So these are doing really well, like SEDG. We got long SEDG on this gap down because we made a case, if you watch some of the earlier videos, that this is the candle that got everybody out. It's the largest volume on the downside. And yeah, we're kind of crushing it on that. It's up 120%. So we just rolled out our calls to the $40 strike here. Yeah, we're not in like Run, which is another good one. But I think the SEDG is a leader. We're starting to actually see EMPH is reporting earnings today. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to this stock, because this is at a pinch point, where it's been, the quarterly moving average has basically been resistance literally this entire downtrend. So I'm just thinking, if it can break this quarterly moving average, I mean, the next spot, it's similar to Moderna, right? So like when these things are downtrending, the quarterly moving average is pretty much the resistance the whole way down. And then once they crack the quarterly moving average, the next stop is for sure the 200. So, a lot of stocks are like that, similar to, or IQ is kind of like that. So once it breaks this quarterly moving average, it goes. So, EMPH, that's a stock that we're looking at. All right, so moving onwards to the rare earths. I mean, the leader in rare earths is this MP Materials that got the DoD contract, and it's just, going straight up. So interesting there. But I'm also I'm seeing this lithium trade really heat up. We kind of caught it early. We made the call like down here on all of these, down here, and then Albemarle, with this breakout right here is where we caught that one, and we moved the calls up here. So we're bullish on the lithium trade, the copper trade, and even the steel trade is starting to pick up. Basically any material company that's in the U.S., I think it's gonna benefit from Trump. He's gonna tariff all these materials, and anybody who makes it in the U.S. is gonna do a little bit better. It's gonna go from really bad to okay, and that's when stocks go up a lot. So monitoring that one. The robot trade seems to be over for a little bit. I think it's in a group of maybe the nuclear stocks. They look a lot like the nuclear stocks. So like RCAT kind of gave up the juice. AVAV is kind of making a lower high here, giving up the juice. The Joby is kind of giving up the juice here. It's pulling back. And then Rocket Lab is pulling back. So the robot drone trade seems to be cooling off. People are rotating out of that and back into this clean energy trade. Similar, the final theme is AI, and similar to the AI quantum computing thing. Some of these quantum computing stocks and AI content creation stocks, they're pulling back today. So that theme is going to have a little bit of a breather. Roblox is the main leader here, and it's finally having a decent red day. Last time it had a red day here, I mean, it had a rally, but this looks like a more climactic kind of a rally. So I think Roblox is over for the time being, and then BBAI as well. So yeah, I mean, it seems like the crypto thing is still alive and well. The clean energy is still alive and well. The rare earths is still alive and well. And then the robot and drones, the 4 and 5, are kind of pulling back. And the nuclear out of the clean energy is pulling back as well. So yeah, I mean, with that, there's just a lot of rotation happening. You see it under the surface, with the IWV is up today and the QQQ is down today. So I think there's just going to be a lot of opportunity during this downtrend to protect the gains, and also maybe even make even more, because we still have this correlation index. Yeah, let me show you guys correlation. So this is the 1 month implied correlation index from the CBOE. And I've started to like looking at this thing, because essentially it tells you if stocks are going to move independent to the market, which is good for stock pickers. And typically when the market starts to really heat up to the downside, the correlation starts going closer together. But for the meantime, you're pretty safe to be diversified when the correlation is this low, because chances are that if something is going down, something else is going up, and vice versa. So that's why I think having a well diversified portfolio at the moment with some tail risk, insurance is a good idea when the correlation is this low. So with that, yeah, I mean, that's all for the thematic update. There's some things going down, some things going up. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. And I hope you guys have a great week. There will be no Friday weekly video because I'm going to be camping. But I'll see you guys next week. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Cheers.